today I wanted to just kind of talk about some of the most important questions that you should ask your contractor before starting a project. A lot of people who watch the show are homeowners or clients or DIYers, and you may be a DIYer that you actually get stuck on a project and decide to consult or hire a professional. And it is important for you to understand what type of contractor you're hiring, how long they've been in business and stuff. We've compiled a list of 20 questions that you should ask when you are hiring your contractor. Number one is the biggest thing that you need to ask them, and this is why it's number one, is are they licensed and insured? There's a lot of different licenses that you can get out there, but there are certain trades that require a state license, so make sure that they have that. Usually you can go online to, for instance, here in Alabama, you have to have a home builder's license to build homes. You have to have a home builder's or remodeler's license to do certain large scope projects and remodels. So make sure that they have that. And then the insurance, make sure that they have general liability and that the policy is in fact active. And this is just to help you. Sometimes they may show you some paperwork, and just make sure you're actually looking at it and ask for license and insurance. And then also for a business license, so whatever city, town, municipality they're working in, they should have a business license for the type of work being performed on your project. Two, can you provide references? Even our clients, I have the construction companies that I own, and I have had clients call and ask other people that we've done work for how we performed, and they ask some questions that you as a homeowner or client, or if you're interviewing a contractor, you should ask these questions, and you should ask the right references are super important. So make sure that you actually follow up and call the references. I know sometimes if you see them be brave enough to actually give you a list of references, you might think, well, most people wouldn't even do that, so I'm not going to call. But the reality is you should call those references and just see what they say, and then also make sure it's not their mom and dad or brother or sister or something like that. Ask the right questions. Number one, are you licensed and insured? Number two, can you provide references? Number three is how long have you been in business? This one I've battled with putting it on the list, but it is important because experience is going to dictate quality. And sometimes that experience also, the longevity of being in business means that they've navigated hurdles and that they've been around long enough to work through issues in their business and company that sometimes new people definitely, and I was in this boat. I am speaking from experience that you don't have everything worked out when you're starting a new business or you just went out on your own. That being said, that doesn't speak to the quality of their work. They may have been doing work for another company and finally went out on their own and started their new business. When again, it's kind of one of those situations where just because they're new in business doesn't mean that their skills are new to the trade that you're asking them to perform. And that's where you have to do your due diligence and find out what that person who is actually doing the work, what their experience is. I know for me, for instance, I have teams. So we've got teams that go out, crews that go out and do the work. My experience in business versus their experience as tile installers or painters or carpenters is different. It's going to be different every time depending on what crew goes out to do what type of work for you. You definitely need to know what the experience is, how long they've been in business, but you want to know the experience of the people actually showing up to the job to do the work. That's the most important part. Number 4 is, have you worked on similar projects before? You are going to have niche contractors. That means that they are very, very good and have picked a certain lane. They tend to stay in that lane, they perform well in that lane, and they know how to handle anything that comes up. And that means that you just want to make sure that you're hiring somebody that has done that type of work before. And it's ultimately up to you. I would say you can't build your first house until you're given the chance to build your first house. You can't do your first bathroom or kitchen or project until you're given the opportunity to do those projects. You're not always going to get a bad product from an inexperienced business owner. The quality of their work is going to be dictated by how they perform in your house. You need to be mindful of that and make sure that, you know, when you're asking these questions, they may not have done a similar project, but they may be confident enough and capable to do that project. However, you are going to have established contractors that have been in business and doing those same type projects. We focus on kitchen and bath. I feel very confident in any kitchen or bath project that we're going to take on, that we can do it. We've got processes. We've got teams that are built for kitchen and bath specifically. However, that doesn't mean the new guy or girl that just started their business, or maybe that has not done a kitchen or a bath, isn't going to produce a quality outcome. That's for you to decide. It is a relevant question and you should ask it. 1, are you licensed and insured? 2, can you provide references? 3, how long have you been in business? 4, have you worked on similar projects? Number 5, can you provide a detailed written estimate? On some of the boards and stuff online, we've been kind of kicking this one around as far as how to not only write the estimates, but how detailed does the estimate actually need to be? And do you do a bulk estimate? Do you do an itemized estimate with a price for each line item? So those, I know what we do as a company, and I know what results it gives us. So I can't say which way, one or the other. But as far as the detail of the estimate, let me get back to that. As far as the detail of the estimate, that should be there no matter what. How they do their pricing on the details is what I'm saying. Some contractors are going to give you a bulk price, bathroom remodel, $25,000. Here's a list of everything being done with a bottom line price. Or you're going to get contractors that give you half the details you need for $25,000, but they may give you a line item breakdown of, here's what the $25,000 consists of. Replace this, replace that, install this, remove that, with a price per item. The details are what make or break the actual outcome. The end result is bathroom remodel. But are you paying for allowances? Or are they paying for stuff? What kind of a material are they using? Where are they getting the material from? Are you buying the material? Is there stuff going to be missed that you're expecting to be in a bathroom remodel? Question 5, the detailed estimate matters, and also just make sure that you ask that question. Number 6 is project timeline. A part of that estimate and conversation moving forward should be, how long is the project going to take? And it goes back to questions 3 and 4, which is, how long have you been in business and have you done similar projects? If you're dealing with a newer contractor, they should give you an answer. It may not be an accurate answer, especially if you understand this is their first time doing a project. They may have some kinks and details to work out. They can get to the quality outcome. It may take them longer to get there. Their timing may be off. Whereas you get a seasoned contractor, their timing may be on point. However, that doesn't mean you're going to get a quality outcome. You just look at the person that you're dealing with, engage that trust level, their first impression, how they're talking to you, how they're communicating. It's really going to be a personal choice. And all of these questions are just guidelines, but just look at how they're interacting with you and what demeanor is important to you, what answers are important to you, and really read that and then ask these questions, and you still make a decision based on how you feel about how they spoke to you and how they presented. Question 7 is, will you obtain the necessary permits? Great question. Some jobs do not need to be permitted. Most jobs do. However, you need to discuss not just will you obtain the necessary permits, which is what any homeowner should know, right? But the contractor should be educating you on whether or not they need a permit, and you should be able to kind of verify or trust them that they will or won't need one. But anyway, when it comes to the details of the permit, right, the homeowner ultimately is responsible for that permit. It's your house, and what contractor you hire is hired by you, but it's still your home. The cost of the permit, going through the steps to get a permit, the contractor should be able to help you out with those things. And like for us, we pull the permit, we pay for the permit, the client pays us, but we do all of the work to obtain the necessary permit. The permit is posted on site. The client is confident that they're getting the permit. The permitting is going to go as it should go because we've pulled permits hundreds of times. It's not an issue, but it is a detail that you need to work out with the contractor that you're working with. Number 8 is, what is your payment schedule? This is another one that we could probably just go on and on and on about. Figuring out the payment schedule for a project is really going to be based on your confidence in that contractor, because we do a draw system because we have a payroll and our employees are W-2. Some people want to do half-half. Some people want to do 40-40-20. And 40%, 40%, and 20%, or half-half would be 50%, 50%. Again, most of the time, if they're asking for a deposit, it should be for materials to cover the job and a little bit potentially of the labor, but it shouldn't be much more than that. You really, when you're asking them what their payment schedule is, they should base their payment schedule on their needs and then your confidence and the ability for them to do the project. It can be, if it's a 2-week project and you want to give them 50-50, that's fine. If it's a 8-week project or a large scope remodel, that's really where this payment plan or payment schedule comes into play. You should ask them, do you have employees? Do you have subs? Because a lot of times that really is going to dictate how much money they need. Materials, where those are coming from, when they need to be paid for, and you have to be, as a client, you have to be understanding of if your contractor has to buy. Again, we live in kitchen and bath, so if we're buying $30,000 worth of cabinets, and typically they want half up front, half when they're installed. As the client, you've got to be accommodating, at least for the material side. On the labor side and progression, if you're putting together a progression schedule, which means you want to do every 20%, or if you set a list of items that are completed and then you get your payment or your draw with the contractor, you can do it that way. That's a progression schedule. That's okay too. And it really is going to depend on your willingness to pay the contractor and their needs as far as their payroll and material needs for the job. Just talk about it. Be transparent with it. Sometimes as a client, you're very sensitive to the money you're putting forth for the project and not understanding the needs and requirements of what it takes to do the project. And then also the contractor is just as sensitive and wanting to make sure that they're able to cover their debts and pay their people through the duration of the project. And it does cause some animosity. I recommend just be open and transparent about what you're willing to pay and how you're willing to pay it, and allow the contractor to do the same. And usually you can meet in the middle and it'll be okay. As long as you're very open about the communication about payment and money on both sides, you'll be fine. Number 9 is, do you have a warranty for your work? This is important because There's a difference in labor type of warranties and then manufacturer warranties for materials that's being installed in your home. Let's just say that you buy a product. That product should come with a manufacturer's warranty. As long as the product is installed properly, you should be covered under that warranty. However, the labor side to this is a labor warranty means, let's just say that for us, again, I can just reference our remodels, but if you drop something on the floor and crack your tile, then that is not typically covered. You're going to have to pay us to come and fix that tile. But if you're walking and we install a tile and didn't back butter it enough and that tile comes loose, then that should be covered under the warranty. That is something that we need to come out. We need to investigate. We need to look at what happened. Oh, I walked across the longer format tile and it popped up, and those types of things are going to happen. It shouldn't be often, but when it does, that's the type of thing we mean when it's covered under a labor warranty. The installer didn't set it properly. That's covered. You break something, it's not covered. How long does that warranty last? That's important too. So for us, we have a 1-year warranty. You go into any of our projects, they understand that up to a year from when we completed the project, they can call us and we will come out and at least take a look again, whose fault, I shouldn't say fault, or who needs to cover the item in question will be dictated by what the contractor uncovers when they come out. The thing is, up to a year from when we completed the project, we should answer the phone, come out to your house, and take a look at the work that was performed. Now, it's a long-term relationship when you're in a local community. It's not like, well, as soon as that year's over, don't call me. You can't do that to people. Again, there could be, you go out and they want you to take a look at something and it turns into more work or an extra job. You just never know. Be mindful of that. You can't be rigid. You do need to cut it off and don't let people use and abuse you as a contractor with your warranty. But the first thing, I guess, is actually just making sure you have a warranty and it is written, expressed, that is. Number 10 is how will communication be handled? This is something that we have in our contracts that's also written and expressed. Whether or not it's acceptable for you to do an approval via electronic means. And what that means is we use BillBook as a system of project. It's a project-based tool that we use to track projects and document everything. It's a CRM tool used to document everything for a project. Let's say, for instance, that we make a change or you want to change material, and it's a way for us to show you a picture of the material and you can digitally approve that. Is that an acceptable mean? If we send you an email saying, hey, it's going to cost $200 extra, do you respond and say, yes, I approve? And if you do that, then that means that is a commitment. That change order has been approved by you. What are the means of communication? Do you want snail mail? You want it written down on a contract, wait for it to hit your mailbox, you sign it, you send it back? You do realistically need to be able to talk about that with your contractor. So again, let's go. Question number 1, are you licensed and insured? Question number 2, can you provide references? Question number 3, how long have you been in business? Question number 4, have you performed similar work? Question number 5, can you provide a detailed estimate? Question number 6, what is your project timeline? Question number 7, will you provide the necessary permits? Question number 8, what is your payment schedule? Question number 9, do you provide a warranty for your work? Question number 10, how will communication be handled? Follow and subscribe for more.